I do see some similarities with farming and running. My dad actually points them out to me all the time. He says farming is like a marathon. You kind of have to get through the tough points and the points of pain to actually see the finish line. You just keep moving and eventually you're complete. And you feel great afterwards and you're happy with the job that you did. It's like that with farming. You just get better at it every time that you do it. My name is Anastasia Cubanek. I farm with my husband Myles and my dad Reg and we farm in Holland, Manitoba. We grow about 1,900 acres of annual crops and we have about 120 acres that we have in forage and grass that we hay and bale. For annual crops we have wheat, barley, canola, soybeans, flax, peas, fall rye, winter wheat, and grain corn and sunflowers. My grandparents moved here from Belgium in 1920. They moved to this farm as tenant farmers in 1934, and then my grandfather bought it in 1953 when he got married, and they lived here for 75 years until 2009.
Till I was about 18 years old, it was a mixed farm. My parents kept a few dairy cattle and some chickens, and my father was really more interested in cropping and the seed production than he was in cattle production, so we went into straight crop production in about 1975. Farming is like any other career. You never know everything. Just because you start off and you figure you know quite a bit, you're going to have to learn quite a bit more.
Many of the farmers that I know, lots of them do have degrees either in agriculture or something else. My husband has a degree in mechanical engineering. I actually wanted to be a plant breeder, and my goal was to breed crops for Africa and nations that didn't have a lot of great crop production. But as I got to university, I realized that plant breeding was more in the lab than in the field. So then I still finished the plant breeding part of my undergraduate degree, but then I did a master's degree in weed science and agronomy. What I'm doing here, it's a post-herbicide application scout. I'm looking to see how good our product worked. What we do want to see is a foxtail that looks like this and is dying. We do a lot of field scouting. I would say every field we're in at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week, depending on the crop. I do feel that crop protection products have a role to play on a sustainable farm. Using them provides another tool to control some of the pests and the issues that farmers do have. They can be used very sustainably. They can be used when needed and not used when not needed. I feel that the herbicides have been a huge asset to the soil health and to farmers everywhere. It gives the opportunity to leave the soil alone, to still get rid of that pest that's potentially encroaching on that crop or reducing the potential yield of that crop.
We've always tried to either zero till or minimum till to save the land. It conserves moisture and it also keeps the land from wind and water erosion. And then it builds up the organic matter in the soil.
Organic matter is kind of like the glue that will kind of hold that water into the soil. Soil health is really important to us, as it is to all farmers, because it is what makes our crop. If our soil did not have the ability to hold moisture, we would not be growing the crops that we grow. My husband and I take the responsibility for producing safe food very seriously. Most farmers are like that we're trying to produce the best food that we can because it feeds ourselves and it feeds everybody else around us. I think you have to have a lot of different ideas and a lot of different tools that you can work with depending on the situation. And every year is going to be completely different, and every field is probably going to be completely different with what you need to do to be sustainable.
We live in an ecosystem that requires good stewardship of the land. Like, we're only here for a short time, you have to look at the whole big picture. Well, that's the thing that I've really strived for in the later part of my farming career, is to give the next generations a chance to enjoy the lifestyle we have had. In order to keep your farming running smoothly, it has to be done healthily. Like, you have to make sure that keep everything in shape, and you have to keep on doing it. Farming is a marathon, there's no doubt about it.